We've heard of the dreams of children that when I grow up, I want to become a doctor, I want to become a teacher, or maybe even a scientist. Kenya has a dream just like this one. Kenya wants to become Japan, Singapore, Malaysia, or even South Korea. I want us to look at how Singapore made it to become a first world nation and what is making it become such the dream opportunity that Kenya wants to be able to achieve as soon as possible. Singapore in the 1960s was just an ordinary third world country with poverty and hygiene and just being basically a third world country. But right now, it is a mega nation with a lot of economic development and the big skyscrapers that we see right now that Kenya is trying to emulate. How did they get here? I have compiled a list of what made Singapore become so grand and why we want to get there as Kenya. The first thing that made Singapore become a first world country was its revolutionary leader. The president by then, called Lee Kuan Yew, was a very major effort in making the country get where it is. This man was hardcore, making decisions that he did not care whether they were popular or not, as long as they were the best for the country. He did this by first of all reducing the size of his government. The country Singapore is not that big, and being within the space of big Asian nations, he had a lot of work to do and strategic thinking to help the country get there. First thing that he did was number one, fighting corruption. Corruption was taken as a deadly menace and a great inhibitor to the success and development of Singapore. This was a very strategic fight that was not often liked by every single person who is in the country, but yet he followed it through. The second thing that the president did was making sure that he paid the public servants very well. He believed that paying them properly was of great benefit to reduce the chances of them wanting to get money through the citizenry that was trying to get services from the government. This served out well, allowing the people to feel more confident with their salary and being able to work better with the citizenry of the nation. Apart from that, the country was able to handle the matters of the population very easily. Singapore was not that much of a saint in matters of the population and different ethnicities in the country. They had Malaysians, they had Indians, and even right now they still do have them. The nation was very sensitive in handling this matter to ensure that these differences in the people that are there will not hinder their development as a country. The country was also focusing a lot on how they could reduce the taxes of their country. This made Singapore a very attractive nation, and investors loved what they were seeing in Singapore. Right now, a lot of people prefer and have already established so many companies in that country. They were trying to make use of the great infrastructure that was set, the road systems, and even the buildings that they had built. A lot of foreign direct investments were now so many in the country, and this helped them to facilitate their growth and their development. Singapore also took a very clean action towards cleaning their cities. Singapore was so beautiful that anyone who traveled to Singapore loved what they saw and did not want to leave that country. Now back to Kenya. Our president, Dr. William Ruto, has launched a very ambitious plan worth 5 trillion Kenyan shillings. This is supposed to help us realize the dream of becoming a first world country faster than we could have ever imagined. He hopes to spread this amount through infrastructure, education, and science. In the infrastructural sector, he hopes to revolutionize how our ports are working, how our airports are working, and how our road systems are working, with an ambitious plan to create 2,500 highways across the country worth 28,000 kilometers. This is supposed to help our country work, look, and perform better, especially in the movement of goods. The president is looking at changing Kenya from being a net importer to a net exporter. He hopes to create at least 50 mega dams in the country and 200 medium-sized dams that are supposed to help facilitate what the 50 are doing. He hopes to be able to irrigate at least 2.5 million acres of land with water without having to necessarily depend on the rain. This is just not only helping us to stand out in the whole world, but also in the region. The president is also looking at increasing from 400 billion Kenyan shillings allocation to the Ministry of Education to 700 billion Kenyan shillings. He believes that through this, our science, innovation, research, and creativity will be bolstered, enabling our country to be able to make better decisions and having a population that is better equipped. We have already seen some considerable steps with the current stories of the sale of 15% stakes of Safaricom worth over 200 billion Kenyan shillings, where this amount is supposed to be taken to the National Infrastructure Fund to help facilitate this kind of development for our country. This is just but one of the great rhetorics that are circulating around our spaces right now with our first world dream. You can tell us in your comments what you think, because for us to realize this, we have a long way to go. Corruption has been a major problem in the country. You can even see in the video, in a previous video that we have done about the e-citizen scandal that costed us billions of Kenyans of shillings every single day. The link is in the bio. We have so much that we need to do, including the ethnicity that we are fighting with as a country, the corruption that we continue looking at, the judicial system that we have, and enforcement of the policies and laws that we hope will be able to help our country to move forward. Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's impossible? And what do you think we need to do to be able to realize the Singaporean dream here in Kenya? My name is Muyanga Muthama. Stay tuned to this and so much more.